Toyota Supra Mk4. The orange Toyota Supra became one of the most recognizable cars in the entire Fast and Furious franchise after Brian O'Connor rebuilt it in the first movie. At the time, the real Supra was already respected in car culture because of its powerful 2JZ engine and tuning potential, but the film pushed it into global fame. What made the car stand out was how it balanced street racing style with real performance credibility. The bright paint, large wing, and aggressive body kit matched the flashy racing scene of the early 2000s. Yet underneath all of that was a car genuinely capable of massive speed. Even years later, many people still connect the Supra directly to the franchise more than any other vehicle. Nissan Skyline GT-R R34. The silver and blue Skyline, driven by Brian in Fast and Furious, became another defining car of the series. Unlike the Supra, the Skyline carried a more technical image. The car came from Japan's performance scene and was already legendary among enthusiasts because of its advanced all-wheel drive system and racing history. In the movies, it represented precision and control rather than raw muscle. The design also helped separate Brian from Dom, whose cars were usually heavier American muscle machines. As the franchise grew larger, the Skyline became one of the strongest symbols of the street racing roots that fans missed in later films. Lykan HyperSport. The Lykan HyperSport appeared in Furious 7 during the famous skyscraper jump sequence in Abu Dhabi. Unlike earlier cars in the franchise, this one belonged to the hypercar era, where extreme price tags became part of the appeal. Only a handful of real Lykan HyperSports were ever built, which immediately made the car feel almost unreal on screen. The movie exaggerated that image even further by launching it through multiple towers at high speed. What mattered most was not realism, but spectacle. The car represented how the franchise had evolved from underground races into global action cinema with billion-dollar visuals. Bugatti Veyron. The Bugatti Veyron showed up as part of the franchise's increasing focus on wealth and international luxury. By the time the car appeared, the series had moved far beyond local street racing. In the real world, the Veyron was famous for breaking speed records and redefining what a production car could achieve. Its engineering was treated almost like science fiction when it launched. Within the films, the Bugatti symbolized elite status and extreme power rather than racing culture itself. It fit naturally into the franchise's later world of private mansions, global criminals, and high-tech missions. Koenigsegg CCXR. The Koenigsegg CCXR appeared briefly, but still carried major impact because of how rare and unusual the brand felt to mainstream audiences. Koenigsegg was never as widely recognized as Ferrari or Lamborghini, which gave the car a more mysterious image. The design looked futuristic, even compared to other supercars in the movies. In reality, the CCXR was known for incredible speed and lightweight engineering, and it helped introduce viewers to the growing world of Scandinavian hypercars. Its inclusion showed how the franchise constantly searched for cars that looked more extreme than the last. Lamborghini Murcielago. The Murcielago represented classic exotic car styling during the mid-2000s era of the franchise. Its sharp lines, low stance, and upward opening doors immediately gave it dramatic screen presence. While American muscle cars represented Dom's identity, Lamborghinis often reflected the international expansion of the series. The Murcielago in particular carried an aggressive image that matched the louder and more intense direction of the films at the time. It also reflected a period when Lamborghini designs became heavily associated with celebrity culture and luxury excess. Ford GT40. The modern Ford GT carried a very different energy compared to many other supercars in the franchise. Instead of relying on flashy styling alone, it connected back to real racing history. The GT was inspired by the original GT40 race cars that famously defeated Ferrari at Le Mans during the 1960s. In Fast 5, the car felt more grounded than some of the later hypercars, yet it still looked fast and dangerous. It blended American heritage with modern engineering, making it one of the few supercars in the series that felt equally respected by collectors and racing fans. McLaren MP412C. The MP412C appeared during a period when McLaren was re-entering the road car market in a serious way. Compared to Ferraris or Lamborghinis, the car looked cleaner and more restrained, but that simplicity was part of its identity. McLaren focused heavily on technology, lightweight construction, and Formula One-inspired engineering. In the Fast and Furious universe, the MP412C represented a newer generation of supercars built around precision rather than just visual drama. It fit the franchise's move towards sleek high-tech action environments. Ferrari FXX. The Ferrari FXX stood apart because it was never intended as a normal road car. Ferrari created it as a track-focused machine for a very small group of wealthy clients. Seeing a car like that in the franchise added an extra layer of exclusivity. It suggested access to a world far beyond ordinary racing culture. The FXX also reflected how Fast and Furious gradually embraced cars that most viewers would never realistically encounter in real life. Instead of feeling attainable, these vehicles became symbols of fantasy and excess. Aston Martin DB9. The Aston Martin DB9 brought a smoother and more elegant tone compared to the louder supercars around it. Aston Martins have long been connected to sophistication, largely because of their relationship with spy films and luxury grand touring culture. In Fast and Furious, the DB9 helped expand the visual variety of the car lineup. Not every fast car needed giant spoilers or aggressive styling. The DB9 showed another side of performance culture, one built around refinement, speed, and understated confidence. Dodge Viper SRT10. The Dodge Viper sat between muscle car and supercar territory. It carried the long hood and raw power, associated with American performance cars, but its speed placed it alongside exotic European rivals. In the franchise, the Viper helped maintain the connection to brutal, old-school driving machines even as technology became more advanced. The car was famous for being difficult to control, which gave it a dangerous reputation in real life. That unpredictability matched the intense energy the films often tried to create during race scenes. Ferrari 458 Italia. The Ferrari 458 Italia represented a more modern era of Ferrari design and performance. By the time it appeared, Ferrari had shifted towards smoother aerodynamics and advanced electronic systems, while still keeping the emotional sound and styling the brand was known for. In Fast and Furious, the 458 helped reinforce the global luxury atmosphere of the later movies. It looked elegant, but still carried the sharp aggression expected from a Ferrari. Even among dozens of expensive vehicles in the franchise, the 458 managed to remain instantly recognizable.